What three things do you think save all relationships?
First one, I would say praise. Praise your partner. You should be their number one advocate. The reason being is, if you don't praise your partner verbally, you don't tell them what you like about them, you don't express appreciation, you don't tell them they're beautiful, what will happen is they'll become hypersensitive to other people that do. When somebody else does it to them, it means so much more to them, and they'll gravitate towards experiences outside of the home. So it's always good to you be their source of validation. So praise is a good one, I would say. Second thing is what we were talking about in terms of the bids. Every time your partner is feeling an emotion, pick up on it, validate it. If they're tired, be like, oh, go to bed. Don't be like, well, I'm tired too, you haven't done anything. Don't invalidate their emotion. As silly as it might be, the more you validate their emotions, the more they trust you. So if they're tired, hungry, whatever it is, you pick up on it and they'll do the same to you, and that leads to a healthy connection. And final thing I would say is emotional intimacy, building what they call it is love maps. It's a kind of understanding everything there is to know about your partner. So you ask deeper questions. You ask questions like, babe, what was the hardest thing about raising you? What did your parents struggle with when you were growing up? Or if you could change one thing about the way your mum brought you up, what would it be? Or do you think the way your siblings are affected your, made you a bit jealous as you are now? Asking these type of questions allows you to disclose a side of you to your partner that allows them to navigate and understand you in a way better way. So I think those are the three things. It's just praise, the connections built, and then opening up, a lot of vulnerability and opening up, and not using that against each other. Don't, when you tell me something sacred, I don't then in a fight be like, oh, do you remember when you pretended to be a jinn, you freaking weirdo? Yeah. So you can't
never forget.
It's not possible. I have that problem. I need to mention this. I actually have ADHD, so I'm constantly talking. I've got real problems. Sorry.
But everyone has ADHD. It's fine.
You said that, but I don't know. What do you mean that everybody has ADHD?
Everyone has ADHD.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, apart from a Zen Buddha.
Yeah, but what do you mean that everybody?
I mean, probably 3 people don't have it.
You think so?
Yeah, in this day and age, with all the social media and everything, attention spans have gone down to 0.
That's true. Yeah. Right? So I have this habit of jumping from convo to convo and talking too much.
I mean, I understand.
So can you reel it in for me, please?
No, I understand, because since you got here, we've spoken about 15 million things in 10 minutes.
Don't you love it?
Yeah, I mean, that's one way of describing it.
You feel exhausted, isn't it? You need a cigarette.
Do you know what? Pretty much. I felt like I was getting a bit sick earlier, and I think
it's like a roller coaster.
It's from the WhatsApp messages it started, you're like the virus that started early.
I really am. I have this problem, but I'm gonna, let's calm it down for the viewers' sake.
Otherwise
you're gonna have a headache.
There ain't nothing calm here. It's fine. But let's introduce what you do, and I want to kind of get into it as why. Okay, so you're a psychologist.
Yes.
Also known as That Psychology Teacher.
Yes, on Instagram.
But very specifically relationship psychology. What made you go from being a teacher to relationships? What about it was attractive to you? What kind of made you go there?
I think it was quite a natural thing. I felt like all my friends and family and everybody, whenever they have any kind of relationship issues, they would always come to me, and I would kind of give them what I thought was just regular knowledge, because coming from a psychology background, I just thought, oh, that's just because, that was going on in your childhood, or your mum used to say that to you, and now you project that into your relationships. And I thought that was quite common knowledge, but I realized that for a lot of people, they don't have access to this information. And if they did have access to it, they could probably sustain their relationship for a lot longer. So I then thought, well, since I have the information and there's a big need for it, why not pursue it as a career, or at least do it on Instagram and make that knowledge accessible and maybe help those people who might be suffering with relationship issues.
So basically money then.
I don't make enough. I don't make enough of it to be money, but it'd be great. If anyone wants to sponsor me, feel free.
I'm sure there's a very big industry there where people are making a lot of money from this kind of thing, right? Because
I'm sure.
Especially in America, because they charge ridiculous amounts for everything.
I'm sure there is a market for it. Me coming from a teaching background, my nature is naturally not to be so business minded. I'm very much I feel guilty charging people sometimes, and sometimes people won't pay me and I won't even ask for it or anything, because I just don't have a business acumen. So I'm trying to merge my skill set with trying to make it a little bit more lucrative. But at the moment it's kind of more, I'm happy to just make it a service that I just provide on Instagram, and if you can learn from it, great. If you want further information, you can contact me, but usually I try and give the knowledge out.
And do you feel like a lot of people are actually reaching out through Instagram to
Yeah, you know what Instagram does? It makes the world so small. Like it makes you able to access people and like places that you didn't even know you could. So through Instagram, it has been a very useful tool. I was always quite anti social media, especially in a relationship context. I'm always quite anti social media. But in terms of like business and connections, it is you must find that, right? Has it been amazing for you in your career?
Yeah. I mean,
it's crazy, isn't
it's
it?
really cool. But at the same time, I feel like social media has been detrimental to ruining a lot of relationships and giving people false ideas of what a relationship should be.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say it's probably one of the number one killers of relationships in modern times, because all it does is provide you with a false sense of the illusion of options. You simply think that there's so many options, so you invest very little in the situation you have, and you're on to the next. And it's like the ADHD, they just on to the next, and it creates insecurities. It's just a nightmare. What is it like for a man on Instagram? Does it affect your relationships? Because for women, it's like we find it really difficult. But what's it like for a man?
I think it's the same. I think it's the same for, or it depends on the person themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I was having a conversation with my wife the other day.
Yeah.
Somebody, I think she watched something and she was like, "Do you get a lot of weird chicks messaging you on Instagram, blah blah blah?" So I got a video of two people doing stuff, and literally said, "When you're in London, come see us, come check us out." And I was like, "Do I know you?" And then she was like, "No, but you know, we saw your thing and we like you and blah blah blah." And I was like, "You're texting the wrong guy.
Like, good.
Don't, you know,
don't
be sending me these kind of messages." And they were like carrying on, and I was just like, "Yeah, Instagram block and block." But I think people wouldn't do that in real life. So I think it, you know, hiding behind the screens and stuff, it gives people like balls to do stuff. And a lot of people, you know, it's very easy for you to shoot your shot without having to shoot your shot by just pressing fire on a girl's picture on their story and seeing whether she replies or not. If she replies, then do you know what I mean? Then okay, let's carry on the conversation.
This means every person you're attracted to is accessible. Whereas back in the day, whoever you were attracted to had to be in your vicinity. And that's a very small pool of people, and that's who you would end up being in relationships with, and that's who you'd end up marrying, and it would stay, the competition would be very low. Now whoever just has one quality that your partner doesn't, you immediately see a way of trying to reach out to them, which just wasn't accessible back in the day. And so it is, I worry for the people that grew up on it, the younger generation. I don't know how they will find a fulfilling and satisfactory relationship. I really do wonder for them. For us, at least, we escaped growing up on it, but for them, I do wonder what it must look like.
I mean, I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and I don't think they realize how it was for us growing up.
No, I do.
Like, for us to say to someone, you know, that we didn't have phones, mobile phones, like we didn't have internet. If you wanted to meet your friend, you had to go and knock on his door.
And chill out.
By 8:15. Otherwise, he's gone to see Trevor, who lives over there. And then you have to go to their house. And do you know what I mean? We came from a different world. And it seems like to them we're so old and weird and stuff, but it was only like 40 years ago.
It just blew so quickly. And I honestly, I remember that the biggest shift in relationships came through the advent of not even social media. It was Tinder that really changed the game, where it went from people would court each other and get into relationships and then have physical relationships, to now the dynamic people especially is you have physical relationships first and then see how it goes, and you accelerate that physical intimacy with no psychological intimacy, and you repeat that pattern, and as a result no one learns the skills for maintaining a relationship. And so everyone's left kind of with all these trust issues and like knowing exactly how to get someone to sleep with them with no idea how to get somebody to commit to them.
Pretty cool.
No,
but also on the other side, there are these stories of people who are very happy and everything, who did essentially meet through Facebook and that kind of stuff. So it has, and that would probably it's a double-edged sword, right?
But that would probably stem from two healthy individuals managing to meet each other in any forum. They will have a healthy relationship. Whereas two unhealthy, or even one unhealthy person, doesn't matter what technique they use. Sometimes all this social media only does is exaggerates that, but essentially it doesn't matter what technique they use, they will struggle in long-term relationships until they undo the issues.
Okay, what is a healthy person?
you know what, a healthy person in a relationship is not somebody who's perfect. It's simply somebody who understands their flaws and either knows how to navigate them with their partner and teaches their partner how to work with them, or works on them. But somebody who has zero awareness of their traits that destroy their relationships is the person that's going to be difficult to be with.
And do you find that's mostly men or women?
Women. I would say women. You know what it is with men? They're so... women are great at reminding men what they're doing wrong. So we will tell you, you're bad, you're a liar, you're this, you're that, and the other. So they kind of know what their traits are. They know if they're a cheat, or they know if they are difficult to live with. They know if they're messy. With women, when they do cheat or when they are a bit abusive, there's very little accountability. They tend to say, I cheated because my partner was doing this or that. And as a result, they don't recognize that they actually do hold the traits of a liar or a cheat or anything going into the next relationship. They're very good at explaining it away, and it makes it very difficult to do therapy on them because they don't understand where they're going wrong. This is not me trying to generalize. It just tends to be what I find. What do you think?
I was once told that men cheat because they don't get any attention, and women cheat because they don't feel appreciated.
And that's not a
Do you know what I mean?
invalid point. I would imagine men, essentially it is just an ego boost. They usually cheat with women that they're not as attractive as their wife or not that interested in, but she makes him feel attractive. And that's sometimes all they need. They just need to feel
like a king kind of thing.
Feel attractive or feel masculine. Sometimes, if you feel emasculated in the home, you cheat because you want to feel masculine, or you want to feel intelligent, or you're chasing a feeling. And that's what cheating essentially is. It's chasing it. A lot of it, sometimes it is just physical attraction and so on and so forth. But there's lots of people who are physically attracted to that you control yourself around. But it's usually when a combination of some physical attraction, but mainly you're missing a feeling and you're seeking that feeling and you seek it outside.
But do you feel like, this is going to sound funny, but do you feel like monogamy is very hard or it's very easy? Because on one side of it, look, you're always going to be attracted to people, always. And this is the conversation I have with people. And, I have a couple friends of mine. And if one of them sees someone on the beach who looks nice and the other one catches them, they go nuts. And I'm like, you have to understand how outrageous that is. That you feel away because he looked at someone or she looked at someone like that. That's outrageous. Like, if anything, there should be an understanding. Hey, listen, looking is all you got. Look the shit out of everyone and take it in. And because there's always going to be attractive people, and you're always going, and we as human beings are attracted to people.
We're attracted to beautiful things. It doesn't have to be a person. It could even be, you see a beautiful car, you'll stop and stare, and you'll see a beautiful outfit, you'll stop and stare.
But you've never had anyone, get divorced because he shagged his car. Do you know what I mean? It's happened in some countries, I'm sure.
The thing is, there's nothing wrong with appreciation, but usually it triggers a response in a woman, usually, or in somebody when they see it as a reflection of what they want to do with that look. So like if you're stopping and staring and be like, oh, she's pretty and that's it, it's not really that deep. But when you see your dad, when you see your man lusting after another woman, there's a line of respect. It's not that women think that it's unreasonable to look at another human being. We know, everybody knows, girls know, you're going to stop and stare at anything beautiful. It happens. Women stare at other women more than men would. But there's a line of some respect, and that's all it is. So when you're really drooling,
is there though? Because I point out guys to my wife.
But that's,
and personally go,
but that's respect.
Look how buff that guy is. You know you'd love to bang.
But you guys are respecting each other's boundaries because your boundaries are still being respected. You're not doing anything that would be disrespectful to her. But I think when people react to that, they might feel disrespected, and it's a combination of their own insecurities.
But that's not good, because that makes that whole walking on eggshells thing is no healthy way to be in a relationship.
Yeah, they're not being themselves.
Like, and it's like, it just doesn't make sense. And if anything, I think personally women fantasize a lot more than men.
Do you think so?
Yeah. Oh, come on, mate. All these bloody shows that Massimo and 365 and what's it called? Downton Abbey and, oh yes, I'll take you on the grass in the background when your husband's like, every time I come in and my wife's watching a show, I'm like, what is this porn you're watching? And she's like, no, you just came in at this time. And I'm like, every show you watch, there's people having sex in it. Like, I don't care. Like, but it's boring for me. Like, do you know what I mean?
Personally, I don't watch enough TV to know what's going on. I actually make a conscious effort not to watch TV or movies, or and I don't really listen to a lot of music, or I definitely don't watch music videos. And that is my way of preserving my brain from conditioning, because I do think this hypersexual situation we have with women and men, it's not an accident. It's very much due to conditioning.
Yeah, but that goes way back. Like, for example, out of 10 women and 10 men, 9 of them, we're talking about back in the day, would read those novels, you know, those, what are they called?
Romance novels.
And he grabbed her by the throat and blah, blah, blah. Like, a guy would read that and go, fuck off.
That sounds stupid.
Do you know what I mean?
Right,
I can't be arsed with that thing. Yeah. And that's where I mean where, okay, women will fantasize on a different level to men. Men will be like, oh, she's so... you know what I mean? And they'll think mainly sexually.
Yeah, men will fantasize sexually.
Women will create a whole backstory.
A relationship.
And, you know, do you know what I mean? A relationship mentally, which is fine.
They fantasize over an ideal relationship.
Exactly.
And but the thing is, it's not hard to create an ideal relationship. It's actually not that difficult. But men and women just speak different languages. And so what they find is essentially all men, the number one thing they seek in their partner is some accountability. They like to hear their partner say, it's not all your fault, and actually I was wrong in that as well, I need to do better in this. And number one thing that women actually need from men is to accept influence. When she says, can we do this on the weekend, or can you wear this, or can we do that, little yeses to little things make it easier for a man to keep control over the bigger things. So if you say yes to small things like, oh, can we eat at this place, or can we watch this, you'll probably retain more control over the bigger decisions, such as where you're going to live and so on and so forth. And it actually creates a more balance, because they're actually just looking for small and steady connection rather than big, huge gestures.
See, hear that, women?
So welcome to my course on masculinity. And in this course, not only will I be able to completely transform your understanding of women, but on a more personal level, you will enhance your self-esteem, self-respect, and your boundaries. The goal of this course is to take a man that has absolutely fantastic intentions, wants to find love, wants to commit, wants to have a good, healthy relationship, but is finding that he's constantly running into women who are narcissistic, who are disrespectful, who are disloyal. Now, if you are finding that continuously, then there must be something in your engagement with women that is causing this. What my course will do is look at where this problem comes from, how to resolve it, how to communicate effectively with men and women, and how to command respect. Most importantly, how to improve your self-respect. And throughout the course, you'll be given interactive sessions, but with course materials to help you channel and journal your learning. So if you are interested in becoming the most masculine version of yourself, join today.